She did not want to be seen by other women as someone who has collapsed under pressure. Because it's on her husband's orders, their husbands would die for the nation. So that is the responsibility our families carry. That is how our families work. And that is the strength they give us. And our honor codes, our culture. I'm talking to a corporate audience. I'm reminded of an incident. After retirement, I came back home. But before that, in 2019, 2020, I was a corps commander in Kashmir. So there is a young lieutenant colonel who was posted there working with me, my colleague. So he had met me 2-3 times. We had each other's mobile number. So when I came back from Kashmir, this I'm giving you an example of taking ownership. You all are doing a business. Everyone has a team under him or her. Every member of the team must take ownership of that organization as if it is his or her own organization. Then only the team will grow, the organization will grow. So this Lieutenant Colonel went his way, I came my way after 2020. Last year I bought a color TV online. I bought the TV online, the delivery was done. The installation was taking time. I sent few mails, I sent few messages. The typical replies are, we have forwarded it, we are doing this, then the call comes, then you answer the call, you call up their call center, what happened, you explain the whole thing. Nothing moved. For 10 days, my TV was not installed. I got so fed up, I took the screenshots of the emails where they are promised by so-and-so date, by so-and-so date. I put it on the Twitter. I said, this is the service they are providing. Then I have good following on the Twitter. Then there was hell which broke out. Everyone is cursing that particular platform. And suddenly, I get a message from this Lieutenant Colonel Ratul Kapoor, who was with me in Kashmir. He says, sir, give me your order number. I will do something. I said, not your job, yaar, leave it. Don't worry, they are managing it. He again sent a message, no sir, please share your order number. I will handle it. So I asked him, I thought maybe some of his friend or some of his family member is working for that company. So I said, nahi beta, tera kaam nahi hai, chhod de. He said, nahi sir. Then I asked, but why are you interested? Do you know someone in that company? His reply came, no sir. Sir, I left the army, now I am working in that company. And then next question was, are you working in sales? Or are you working in after sales, these complaints and all? He said, no, no, sir, I am working in planning and I am working with the warehousing and all. This is not my department. So I asked him, I said, then why are you interested? You know what his reply was? His reply was, sir, फौज की नौकरी 20 साल की है और उस 20 साल में एक बात सीखी थी, जो भी काम करो इस तरह से करो as if you own this organization. आप मालिक हो उस organization के. So even if it's not my job, it's not my department, but I work for this organization, I can't see this organization's name being sullied or being taken as if it's an efficient organization. I will handle it. Can you beat it? I gave the order number. Within 30 minutes after I gave the order numbers to this officer, my TV was installed. What does it show? It shows it takes a veteran to come from the military to corporate world to do a job in 30 minutes, which could not be done by a person whose duty it was to do it, who was getting paid for it for 8 to 10 days. That is owning the organization. That is the honor code. That is the culture. That is the DNA. If every employee has this feeling, a lot of people say, फौज में तनख्वाह भी नहीं मिलती है, पैसा भी नहीं है, तो कैसे आप लोग, how do you keep yourself motivated? These are the things. In my entire 40 years, I never owned a new car. I could never afford it. After retirement, I bought a new car, that too also in installments. But I was a content man, मोहब्बत थी अपने काम से. So this is how, if you own the organization, if you take ownership of the organization, this is how it works. I'll give one more example of, a lot of us would be thinking, मेरे में तो ये बात नहीं है, I have this weakness, I have this weakness, I can't match up to him, I can't match up to that company, I can't match up his style. No, weakness. What is a weakness? Weakness is you are feeling you have a weakness. There was a kid in Japan, 10-year-old boy. He was very fond of judo. So he wanted to be a judo player. But unfortunately, in a car accident, he lost his left arm. His left arm was totally taken away from his body. Now he didn't have a left arm, but he still wanted to be a judo player. He went to a lot of coaches. Coach, I want to be a judo player. Everyone said, no, you can't be a judo player, you don't have a left arm. He didn't lose hope. He didn't feel मेरी weakness है तो मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा. He went to a particular coach who said, okay, I'll train you. So this coach takes him in his academy and he tells him, okay, this is what we have in the wrestling, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना पकड़ या दाव or hold. So he taught him one particular hold or one particular dav. He said, okay, practice this. So this boy practiced it for 15, 20 days. He went to the coach. He says, coach, I mastered this. What next? Coach says, nothing. Keep practicing this only for some more time. Again, after 30 days, he goes to him, coach, what next? He said, no, keep practicing. This boy kept practicing the same hold for 6 months or 8 months. Coach did not teach him the second hold. In the meantime, the competition came. So he participated in the competition. He didn't have a left arm. He knew only one hold. But notwithstanding, he won first 2-3 rounds easily. Then came the quarterfinals. Very difficult. But somehow he could manage that hold and he won. Semifinals, again, very difficult, almost losing, but he managed that hold and he could win. Now comes the finals. Finals is against a champion who has never been defeated, who is champion for the last 5-10 years. He has never lost a bout. And now this boy with no left arm and knowing only one hold enters the ring with him. They start. First round, badly lost. Second round, badly lost. Third round, just about 20 seconds to the finish, he is losing badly. He is trying to get that hold. The only thing poor chap knew, couldn't get it. Finally, in the last 15 seconds, he gets that hold. Moment he gets that hold, the other wrestler is trying to get out of it. He can't get out of it. And this chap keeps pressing on and he pins the opponent down. That wrestler is still trying to get out of the hold. He can't get out of that hold. And he pins the wrestler down and he wins. Now this young boy, 10 years of age, without left arm, knowing only one hold, defeated a reigning champion. And he always thought that left arm is a weakness. So he goes to his coach and he asks the coach, coach, what happened? How did I win? You know what the coach told him? Coach told him, the hold which you have learnt, if opponent has to break this hold, he has to grab your left arm. If opponent has to break this hold, he has to grab your left arm. Since you do not have the left arm, this hold cannot be broken. Now that is how you convert the weakness into strength. Only thing you need is a good leader, good guide, good coach, good teacher, who will identify that this weakness can be converted to opportunity or strength like this. In this story, there are 2-3 lessons. One, of course, is how to convert strength to weakness, or weakness to strength. Second is having faith in the teacher. If he did not have the faith in that coach, he would have left after 20 days. ये तो कोई सिखा ही नहीं रहा है. Third is having faith in your student. That coach also knew this student has the capability, so what if he doesn't have the left arm? So this is how it works. Failures, challenges, crises will happen. Don't be afraid of failures. Don't be afraid of challenges. Mr. Anupam Kher was interviewing me once. After this, I'll take the questions. Mr. Anupam Kher was interviewing me once and he asked me about failures. So I replied something. He then tells me, he says, failure is never a person. Failure is an event. You wanted to run 100 meters, you didn't come first, you came fifth. That event of 100 meters today has failed. You have not failed. You will run tomorrow and you will come first. So you never tell yourself that you are a failure. You can win again. That event was not to your liking, to your capabilities or to your suitability. So failure is always an event, not a person. This person who has organized this event today, all the lights, all the mics, sound, seating, everything, perfect. Suppose suddenly the light goes off or the mic goes off or something happens. Does that mean that person is a failure? It only means this particular event has failed. This person given the same job tomorrow will do a much better job. So failure never get disheartened. टूटना बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटना बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटकर गिरना भी बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटकर बिखरना भी बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटना बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटकर बिखरना भी बुरी बात नहीं है. टूटकर जुड़ना हिम्मत है और जुड़कर उड़ना हिम्मत है. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Now I can take any questions if you have. I'll try and answer it. Only request is keep it away from politics and religion. Thank you.
First row. The question in the first row. Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to raise your hand so that we can pass the mic around if you have a question. Please. The third row, the third sofa over here.
Yeah, wonderful, inspiring talk. I live in US and India lives in me, and I do a lot of analysis of army, and probably you already know that, but I'm going to say for the audience, if I compare US Army, Russian Army, Chinese Army, and Indian Army, in my analysis, Indian Army is number one.
Yes.
Because of their discipline, because of their operation, their delivery, even if they don't have the right equipment or sophisticated equipment, they still deliver.
Yes.
Regarding Operation Sindoor, my own analysis, spending a lot of time and effort, I find that this is the most wonderful operation Indian Army performed. No army in the world can perform that kind of operation with that precision, efficiency, with no loss of anything.
Yes.
But my question to you is how you counteract disinformation warfare.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the question. Question is about Operation Sindoor. How do you counter the disinformation warfare? In my last book, Operation Sindoor, I have touched on this topic in great detail. There's something called information, there's something called misinformation, there's something called disinformation. Disinformation is willingly, knowingly trying to tell a lie and spread it as truth. So what happened in Operation Sindoor, just to supplement what Sir has said, first time in the history of the world, 2 nuclear powers went to war. Leave aside Kargil, that was a limited action. First time in the history of the world, 2 nuclear powers go to war, and within 4 days, 1 nuclear power goes down to its knees, who was also supported by a 3rd nuclear power. 1 nuclear power goes down to its knees and begs for ceasefire. That is victory. On day 1 of 7th of May, I'm talking about disinformation and the realities. 7th of May, we select 9 terror targets. We had such precise information and such precise weapon systems that we knew there are people sitting in the basement. Our weapons perforate the tomb or the dome, they perforate the roof, ceiling, floor, and they go into the basement and explode. Now that is victory. When we hit 9 terror targets, not a single missile of ours was intercepted by Pakistan. In spite of the air defense and everything intact, now that is victory. On 11th, on the 4th day, on 10th of May, when we hit their 11 air bases, in one particular air base, there were 2 airstrips like this. We hit a missile at the junction point of both. That is precise and that is victory. When we hit their aircrafts inside the hangars on ground and 320 kilometers in the air away from the border, that is victory. When none of our missiles who went to hit these air bases could be intercepted, that is victory. When their Air Force pilots refused to fly after an aircraft was downed at 300 kilometers inside Pakistan, now that is victory. When at 3:35 p.m. on 10th of May, they came begging with a phone call from Pakistani Director General Military Operations to Indian Director General Military Operations, begging for ceasefire, and that is victory. When we say ceasefire accepted from the position of strength, when we could have hit them more, now that is victory. And now comes the question, how to handle this disinformation. This disinformation, this 50, 60, 70 on social media, we proved all our claims of their losses with photograph, with satellite imagery, with videos taken by Pakistani citizens of the burning airfields. If our airfields were burning, do you think our citizens will not make videos? Do you think our citizens will not put it on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook? Not a single video of Indian airfield burning on any social media. Not a single satellite imagery of any aircraft on the social media. Not a single photograph of any damage to any military equipment anywhere. That is victory. Now this, specifically answering this question of disinformation. Why this 50, 60, 70? Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Pakistan says we downed 5 Indian jets. Goes to Turkey, next day says we downed 6. Goes to United Nations, after a few days says we downed 7. Karte 40 पहुंचेंगे ये. So that is disinformation. Now why this disinformation? Is Pakistan doing it? No. Pakistan is not doing this disinformation. Now I will tell you, you are people in the market, the world's biggest market is the weapons market, weapons lobby. One side are Indian weapons, Indian joint venture weapons like BrahMos, Russian weapons like S-400, French weapons like Rafale aircrafts. On the other side is Turkish, Chinese, F-16s, American and Western bloc weapon systems. Now when 2 nuclear powers go to war, and after 4 days one is defeated so badly that asks for ceasefire, begs for ceasefire, and if it is declared that India is the outright winner, that means Indian weapons, Russian weapons, French weapons are the best. All the orders of the third world countries for weapon systems will come to these countries. The weapons lobby in the West and China and Turkey, they did not want their orders to go away. So they connived to give this disinformation. If you just Google the Chinese company which manufactures the aircrafts and the missiles and these radars, which took part in Operation Sindoor and they got so badly beaten, their shares in a single day after 10th of May, on a single day they fell by 8.6% in Chinese stock market. It's a matter of record. I put it in my book with names and dates. If a company which has just had a war and is in the defense equipment business and the shares go down by 8.6%, what does it show? That means the people in China everywhere knew what is the truth. So disinformation did not come from Pakistan, disinformation came from the Western bloc, and they had all the media, social media controls to make believe that this is the truth. The truth is what I told you initially, कि जीत क्या है, जीत के मापदंड क्या हैं. Earlier there used to be capture of land, like East Pakistan, capture of prisoners of war, like 93,000 in East Pakistan, which would mean who won. In this war, no soldier or equipment crossed the international boundary. So how do you decide who won? The decision is based on who suffered losses, who came begging for a ceasefire. So that is disinformation. But point taken, India needs to do more in narrative management. In our case, everyone is doing something or the other. Army, Navy, Air Force, Information Ministry, Broadcasting Ministry, Home Ministry, Foreign Ministry, Defense Ministry, they all are doing their bits and pieces. There needs to be a coordinated effort. There has to be a integrated information center where all the information comes and they give out the facts. A normal citizen, when he sees something on social media, he has no way to check whether it's truth or not. So he should straightaway go to that IIC site and check what is the truth. We need that Indian Integrated Information Center. But only thing is, we don't need in that that some joint secretary from Agriculture Ministry has completed tenure, usko dal do. Some brigadier sahab in Nagaland has done his work, now usko bhi dal do. Some foreign minister official has, in some South African country, has completed his tenure as ambassador, usko dal do. No. You need experts. You need subject matter experts. If there is an 80-year-old man who understands the topic of perception management, he should be there. If there is an 18-year-old student who knows how to handle social media, how to manage perception, he should be there. It should be subject matter experts right under the PM or NSA. So it's a very pertinent subject. So please read in my book. I try to explain the whole thing, but a very valid question, sir. Thank you.
Sir, Pakistan has begged us for the ceasefire. Sir, Dhillon sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pakistan has asked for the ceasefire and we have accepted for it. But just a hypothetical question, what would have happened if it continued for next 5 days and we could have finally closed these terror attacks and terror threats in future?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. If this war had continued between India and Pakistan, there's something called war fighting stamina. When war fighting stamina of two nations is calculated, it's not only military equipment or military personnel or the number of personnel or number of tanks, number of guns. It is the number of military personnel, number of military equipment pieces, the diplomacy, the economy of that nation, the industry of that nation, the political will of that nation, and the nation citizens supporting that war effort. All this combined together decides which country has a war fighting stamina of how many days vis-a-vis the other country. And in the military and everywhere, this has been war gamed so many times. India and Pakistan, when they go to war, with all the parameters I've just said, the military equipment, military personnel, the economy, the diplomatic reach, the political will, the power of the citizenry, the industry supporting the war efforts, the reserves in the country, after 4 days, Pakistan war fighting stamina vis-a-vis India starts going down very badly. India's war fighting stamina continues to be high. After 4 days, with every passing day, Pakistan's losses will continue to multiply. So it is, as a responsible nuclear power, as a responsible democracy, as a responsible nation, we could have finished that thing. The complete war fighting capability of Pakistan could have been finished. Economic places of Pakistan could have been finished. But we did not do it because we are a responsible nation. We have answerability to the world. We are a nuclear power. We didn't want some stupid chap trying to blow up a nuclear weapon. So it's a sensible decision. Militaries and nations don't work on sentiments, as I said earlier. They work on real politics. So that decided, that demanded that we act responsibly, which we did. Thank you, sir.
Namaskar, sir ji.
Yes, sir. When you say stop, we'll stop.
No, we will, I'll not ever tell you to stop. Just that when you arrive, I just have to welcome you. Motivational karna.
सर जी नमस्कार
जी
मेरा क्वेश्चन है चिकन एंड एग्स के तरफ से सो मेरा नाम राज रेड्डी है एजीएम विंकॉप चिकन प्रमोशन एंड एडवर्टाइजमेंट प्रीवियस ईयर हमारा को यहाँ पे कंटोनमेंट में मिलिट्री तरफ से बॉडी बिल्डर जो रहता है ना सर जी वो लोगों के तरफ से हमारा को सेवा ऐसा मिला है हम चिकन स्पॉन्सर करने का हमारा को मौका मिला तब वो लोग हमारा को इंडेंट दिया था तो इंडेंट देने के बाद हम लोग उनसे पूछे कितने लोग हैं तो कैलकुलेट करके देने के लिए बोले तो एक एक आदमी को डेली 2 किलो चिकन 40 अंडा तो मैं आपसे मेरा क्वेश्चन सर जी, अपना बहादुर जो जवान है उन लोगों को डेली कितना अंडा और कितना चिकन हमारा अपना तरफ से उन लोगों को डेली मिलता है?
Thank you.
थैंक यू.
Jawan's diet, every Jawan's diet is catered for by the government, and diets at different altitudes is different. A diet of a Jawan serving in Hyderabad is different. He can be a non-vegetarian, he can be an egg-vegetarian, he can be a proper vegetarian. Accordingly, his milk and cheese will go up, or his number of eggs will go up, and if he is a non-vegetarian, his chicken and mutton will be as per the particular standards. So number of calories are counted, what a healthy Indian Jawan needs for the physical activity which he does. And if you go to high altitude, the rations change. There the eggs are increased, the chocolates add on, the dry fruits are added. So the different rations for different altitudes. But every Jawan's ration is catered for, and it is responsibility of the government to provide that ration to him. And I can only tell you, a single person cannot consume that ration which is authorized. There are always surpluses at the end of the month, because it's not humanly possible to consume that type of ration if you are not doing aggressive physical activity. So, but this special diet is also authorized, something called special diet or extra diet to the sports persons, to the persons who are into sports, or wrestling or athletics or whatever. So they get some extra diet, which is again calculated as per their body's needs. Yeah, thank you.
Jain sir, myself Akash Pawar, and I am an SSB aspirant. Sir, my question is regarding Operation Sindoor. Sir, during Operation Sindoor, how did India successfully strike Pakistani air bases despite Pakistan receiving real-time satellite support from China? Could you explain a little about strategic measures?
Thank you. Thank you. You know, in peacetime, as of now when we are speaking, the militaries are doing their job. Army, Navy, Air Force, they are working on the likely targets which need to be engaged in any future war. So the war may be a short war, long war, or a very prolonged war. So accordingly the targets are selected. And all the intelligence about the targets is gained. And when the targets intelligence is gained, so like say in this example, these 9 terror targets which we selected, in front of the complete India-Pakistan border, you know, there may be 500 or 700 or 1,000 or 1,500 targets which have been selected by the Army, Navy, Air Force, and their intelligence is updated. But finally, depending on our requirement, our aim, we homed on to these 9. These 9, which were terror targets, and 11, which were air bases. Now this target, once we selected these targets, then the latest intelligence about that target is obtained. Like so much so that which hangar has got F-16 standing, where are those weapons, where, like I told you about this Markaz Subhanallah in Bahawalpur. If Masood Azhar's family was in the basement, we had the intelligence of the basement and the lat launch location, exact location. And we also knew that a weapon has to be fired which goes through the roof, goes through the floor, and goes into the basement and explodes. So that is the accuracy of the intelligence, which is gathered during peacetime. And similarly for the air bases, exact location as to where, which weapon system, where, which aircraft is there. So much so, there was a underground bunker command post which could not be hit by a normal weapon. But there was air conditioning duct which was coming out. So a weapon was fired into that air conditioning duct so that it goes inside and explodes. So that is the type of accuracy. Today the weapon systems, our weapons like BrahMos and missiles which Rafale has, they can fire at less than 1 meter accuracy. That means if the aim is here, maximum they can go off the aim is 1 kilometer radius. So 1 meter radius. And the type of explosive they carry, 1 meter is nothing. So that is the type of accuracy of weapon. But in this whole thing, weapons target is one thing, but target weapon matching is very important. For which target, which weapon system to be used. Suppose you had used a projectile or a missile which explodes on the first contact. Then this missile would have hit the dome and exploded. It would have never gone to the basement. So intelligence is a must, the lay of the target is a must, target profile is a must, and your weapon system matching is a must. So it's a very complicated thing, but it is done in a very professional manner. Thank you.
I have a question for you. India and Pakistan are both nuclear powers, so what would warrant one country to use their nuclear weapons? And the second question, the international community will also sort of get involved because there's two nuclear powers, so you were retaliating against them entering Kashmir, so...
Sorry, I am not able to understand the question. First one is on nuclear power.
Yes, so the first question is what would warrant either India or Pakistan to use their nuclear weapon?
What if Pakistan uses the nuclear weapon?
Yes, or India. In what situation would you use your nuclear weapon?
Okay.
And the second one was, would the international community get involved? You were retaliating against Pakistan for entering Kashmir, so would they say, okay, enough is enough, you have to stop? Or whose decision is it? Would they get involved, or is it just an India decision?
So whose decision is to stop the war?
Yes,
That's the second question.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, about the nuclear weapon strike. India's nuclear policy is very clear. We have a nuclear policy, nuclear doctrine, which is declared. It has 2-3 lines. One is, India will never use a nuclear weapon against a country which does not have a nuclear weapon. That means, hypothetically, tomorrow we were to go for war against any of our neighbors other than Pakistan and China, which do not have a nuclear weapon. We will never use a nuclear weapon against them. We will only fight them with conventional weapons. That is one. Second is, we will not use nuclear weapon as first strike against a nuclear country also. That means we will not be the first one to use it. I will amplify this. And the third is, if someone uses a nuclear weapon against us, our second strike or our response would be so massive that it would be unacceptable damage will be caused to that country. So these are the 3 lines of our nuclear strategy. Now coming to the second line, that India will not use nuclear weapon as a first strike. Now there is an explanation to this. Nuclear weapons, for the sake of safety, are not kept at one place. One part is kept here, the other part is kept here, so that even accidentally they don't cause a problem. So when a nation, say Pakistan, when Pakistan decides to use a nuclear weapon against India, our intelligence is very clear. We are watching these two places. When they make a decision, they will take out this part from here. They will take out this part from here, bring them to a central place from where they are going to launch it. Once they get these two parts at the place of launch, then there's something called mating, coupling, or joining. Then they will do the mating of these two parts. Once they're doing the mating of this two parts, then our intelligence reports would be very clear that Pakistan or that nation is going to now use a nuclear weapon against us. So we will not wait for that nation to join that weapon, put it into a launch vehicle and launch it, and it falls in one of our cities, causes death of so many of our citizens, and then we say, okay, now you have struck first, I will now retaliate. No, sir. Moment he has taken out these two parts, brought them to a central place, has started the process of joining them, the intention to fire is clear. Now, moment we are clear that this nation is now intending to use a nuclear weapon against us, we take it as a first strike. We will not allow that nation to fire it into our territory. We will destroy that weapon in his territory only, assuming as a first strike.
So before we take the next question, just an announcement that we have our minister joining us any moment now. I request our government officials, IAS officers present here to please be here with us closer to the stage, as we would be requesting your presence as well to be on stage with us along with the minister. So once again, I request all the IAS officers to please be ready, and probably we can take another question. Dhillon ji?
Last question.
दिलोन साहब नमस्कार. मेरा सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है, आपके हेक्टिक शेड्यूल में आपके हॉबीज़ क्या क्या है? और सेकंड एक इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, मैंने रिसेंटली खंदारे साहब का एक लेक्चर अटेंड किया था. तो वी इंडिया आर हैविंग साइलेंट एनिमीज, मतलब अदर कंट्रीज वो आर साइलेंट एनिमी, वो ओपनली कुछ नहीं करते बट साइलेंट रहते. तो ये मेरे दो क्वेश्चन है आपके.
Silent enemy within or outside?
आउटसाइड.
Okay. Okay, thank you. First is my hobbies. I am a very simple life living person. My hobbies are listening to music. My hobbies are reading. My hobbies are remaining in touch with people. I never miss anyone's birthday or anniversary or anything. I always wish them. I have a first thing in the morning is to get up and see आज किस का birthday है, क्या है. And my hobby is cooking, motorbike riding, driving, playing golf and other things. So simple hobbies, nothing which can cause harm to anyone else. So that is one. Second is about General Khandare. Me and General Khandare have known each other for more than 35-40 years now. Very dear friend and a very professional officer. A wonderful gentleman, wonderful human being, and a thorough soldier. Yes, we have enemies within, we have enemies outside, and those people have their interests. Their agendas are there. Their interests are there. So there is a declared enemy. We can name the countries who are our enemies. Then there are undeclared people who are not very happy with our growth. मोहल्ले की पॉलिटिक्स और इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स सेम है. मोहल्ले में भी एक दादा होता है, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में भी एक दादा होता है. मोहल्ले में भी एक शाहूकार होता है, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में भी शाहूकार होता है. मोहल्ले में भी सब शाहूकार के खिलाफ कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में भी कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं. मोहल्ले में भी दादा के खिलाफ कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में भी कुछ नहीं बोलते हैं. मोहल्ले में भी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन में ये दादा कमज़ोर पड़ जाता है, एक नया दादा खड़ा हो जाता है. इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स में भी वही होता है. मोहल्ले में भी वो शाहूकार के बेटे अच्छा कर जाते हैं, जहाँ नहीं करते हैं दूसरे किसी के बेटे अच्छा कर जाते हैं, वो एक नया पावर सेंटर खड़ा होता है. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस में भी नई इकोनॉमी मर्ज करती है, पावर सेंटर खड़ा होता है. मोहल्ले में भी आपकी नई गाड़ी को देख के पड़ोसी खुश नहीं होता, इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन में भी आपकी ग्रोथ को देख के पड़ोसी खुश नहीं होता है. सो देयर आर एनिमीज, देयर आर विजिबल एनिमीज, देयर आर इनविजिबल एनिमीज. Only thing in international relation is there are no permanent friends, there are no permanent enemies, there are permanent interests. So interests are permanent, and every country has a national interest which is prime and most important. For our country also, national interest is most important. And that's what our government has shown every time, and even during Operation Sindoor. So national interests are prime and supreme for the nations, for the good of the country, for the good of the citizens. And militaries are only part of it.
Thank you very much, sir.